The film is set in a chaotic metropolitan environment, as seen through the narration of the young protagonist, Lucas. Lucas presents an immediate image of his neighborhood's terrible reality, blighted by a prevalent crime culture that includes murders, sexual assaults, and drug peddling. The tremendous impact of these illicit actions is felt strongly by local communities, setting the backdrop for an engaging story. Gangsters govern this grimy metropolitan landscape. Lucas, a cog in the criminal machine, works as a drug courier for one of the region's most notorious kingpins. His deep knowledge of the city's drug trade complexities extends from street-level delivery guys like himself navigating the city on motorcycles to middlemen monitoring operations for Jester, the right-hand man, and the top gang leader known as the Big Boss. Lucas reveals the elusive nature of the Big Boss, claiming that Jester is the key mediator. Lucas, on the other hand, is in a unique position because he has direct access to the enigmatic Big Boss, known as Rincon, a guy known for his ruthlessness and the ability to retaliate quickly and brutally against betrayals. Lucas, cycling through his days as Rincon's delivery man, comes upon Daniel, a regular customer whose drug usage is a coping mechanism for acute depression caused by his tragic experiences as an Afghan soldier. Haunted by the terrible scars of war, Daniel finds consolation in the embrace of narcotics, which serve as his mute testament to the horrors he witnessed, having been bereft of his voice by the conflict. He speaks with Lucas primarily by text messaging on his phone. Despite Daniel's repeated requests for Lucas to forsake the deadly gang life in favor of a more traditional adolescent living focused on education and entertainment, Lucas remains adamant. The plot moves to Rincon, the elusive gang leader, who becomes suspicious of a curiously parked car outside his home, suspecting FBI surveillance. Amid the stress, Rincon gently encourages his sister to prepare for her upcoming wedding. Meanwhile, Lucas approaches an old guy named Carlos to collect payment for previously supplied drugs. Lucas, sympathetic to Carlos's financial troubles in the fruit trade, extends the payment deadline, underlining the importance of repaying the debt to avoid Rincon's fury. A priest visits Rincon's home to discuss the wedding blessing ritual for Rincon's sister. The priest proposes a church venue for added dignity, but Rincon rejects the idea outright, citing safety concerns. Eventually, the priest agrees to hold the wedding at Rincon's house. Lucas makes a stop at the drug courier's headquarters before handing payments to Rincon, which surprises him. He settled his younger brother, who had excitedly joined Rincon's group as a drug courier. While the brother revels in his new status, Lucas is enraged and insists on returning to school. In another scenario, Daniel navigates a food truck while dealing with his speech handicap. Customers become increasingly frustrated as the wait lengthens, and some reckless gang members begin to harass Daniel. Despite his previous battle experience, Daniel chooses not to confront his tormentors. As Daniel's health deteriorates, he quickly flees from the noisy crowd to a quiet alley. He finds refuge in there, and gets the drugs he had obtained from Lucas to soothe his terrible depression. Unfortunately, robbers spotted Daniel using the narcotic and attempted to rob him, causing him to become enraged and forcefully defend himself. Meanwhile, Rincon, known for his harsh and violent personality, dedicated himself to methodically planning his sister's wedding. Despite his menacing appearance, Rincon had a deep affection for his sister and was anxious to ensure her happiness. Tensions rose when the groom and his family arrived at Rincon's residence, well aware of his reputation as a dreaded gang leader. During the wedding preparations, Lucas arrived to deliver the cash from drug sales. His ease with Rincon, who had grown fond of him due to his apparent brilliance and dependability, highlighted the complicated dynamics of the environment they shared. Rincon had come to consider Lucas as an important part of his extended family, rather than merely an associate-seated member. Lucas's older brother, a former Special Forces man, had given his life in an attempt to free Lucas from the confines of narcotics and gang life. Rincon shared with Lucas, in a vulnerable time, his deep affection for his own family, notably his sister, who had a disability. Rincon assigned Lucas an important mission: deliver 2 large parcels to a contact at a gas station. Rincon emphasized the importance of finishing the project quickly and stressed his wish for Lucas to share in the excitement of his sister's upcoming wedding. However, the scene darkened as Jester entered, hauling in a debtor who had fallen behind on payments. Entrusting the debtor to the stern Rincon, Jester demanded rapid payment, issued a warning, then, in a surprising twist, violently killed him. Following this heinous conduct, Rincon told Lucas to leave, emphasizing Jester's displeasure with Lucas's presence in Rincon's home. Jester confronted Rincon, querying why Lucas was chosen for a vital delivery rather than himself. Jester harbored a lot of hatred since he thought Rincon always favored Lucas. Rincon clarified that their illegal extended actions had piqued the FBI's interest, and he believed Jester's involvement would draw too much suspicion. As Lucas proceeded on the delivery assignment, he came across a heartbreaking scenario in which his younger brother was being roughed up by gang members as part of an initiation process. Lucas stepped in, claiming Rincon had directed him to stop the assault. Determined to prioritize his brother's safety, Lucas hurriedly brought him home with the goal of enrolling him in school, temporarily putting aside his immediate responsibilities. Lucas was unaware that, in the middle of the chaos, he had mistakenly left one of the items at his apartment. Just as they were about to leave, Jester and his crew attacked Lucas, accusing him of purposefully disobeying Rincon's orders. Lucas was subjected to an assault, but he and his brother escaped with their lives. In the midst of their escape, they met Daniel, who offered them a ride in his car. Jester and his men pursued on motorbikes, sparking a high-speed pursuit through the tiny neighborhoods. Daniel effectively disabled Jester's and his crew by smartly dodging them. Meanwhile, Rincon's sister's wedding was a simple yet exuberant occasion that exuded pleasure. In Lucas's world, he noticed a parcel had dropped into Daniel's now burning vehicle. Recognizing a missing package, he suspected it had been accidentally left at his place. On the other hand, Jester swiftly informed Rincon of the day's turbulent occurrences. Rincon, plainly worried and disappointed in Lucas, reacted angrily at the news. Rincon issued a severe command to Jester and his men: grab Lucas and his brother without causing injury. Daniel, recognizing an imminent threat, persuaded Lucas to escape town while there was still time. Lucas refused to take Daniel's advice and persisted on handling his affairs independently. Lucas raced home to recover the misplaced item, determined to flee Rincon's directions. When Jester briefly fled the scene, Rincon was approached by Spider, another powerful gang boss and the true intended recipient of Lucas's package. Spider inquired about the contents, which turned out to be a significant amount of money. When Lucas arrived home, he quickly discovered the item lying beneath his bed, took it, and fled with his brother. However, his ambitions were thwarted when a potential ally betrayed him, handing him up to Jester and his ruthless henchmen. Lucas found himself forced to confront Rincon. Meanwhile, Daniel returned home and was shocked to see that his father-in-law had become a victim of Jester and his crew, driven by rage over the devastation done to his family. Daniel decided to retaliate and free Lucas and his brother. When he arrived at Rincon's house, he got into a fight with two of Rincon's gang members, which allowed him to overpower one and kidnap the other. Daniel, aware of FBI surveillance on Rincon's stronghold, carefully exploited his captive to provoke the agents into attacking the heavily protected mobster property. The resulting struggle turned into a vicious gunfight, with heavy losses on both the Rincon's and the FBI's sides. Tragically, amid the turmoil, Rincon's sister was victimized on what should have been a wonderful occasion. During the turmoil, Daniel was wounded in the leg while attempting to save Lucas and his brother. In the midst of the chaos, Lucas attempted to flee with his brother, only to be confronted by Jester, who menacingly held them at gunpoint. Rincon intervened at a critical moment, keeping Jester from wreaking harm. Rincon, who was deeply disappointed in Lucas, whom he had considered a son, faced a difficult decision. Despite his conflicting emotions, Rincon could not bring himself to harm Lucas and ordered him and his brother to leave. This humane deed infuriated Jester, who saw Rincon's mercy as weakness. Jester was consumed by jealousy at Rincon's familial respect for Lucas, whom he considered family despite being Rincon's nephew, and had nefarious plans to assume control of Rincon's leadership. In an unexpected change of events, he brutally murdered Rincon with a shot to the head. As Jester prepared to shift his murderous attention to Lucas and his brother, Daniel intervened, attempting to de-escalate the situation by handing Jester a package supposedly containing cash. However, when Jester realized that the package did not include the promised money, his deadly aim shifted to Daniel, indicating a dangerous turn of events. In a key moment, Jester was fatally murdered by one of Lucas's pals who had betrayed him. The film ends with Lucas and his brother leaving the town by train. During the voyage, Lucas's brother uncovers an unexpected discovery: a substantial sum of money generously provided by Daniel, providing them a fresh start in a new city. Thanks for watching. If you are new, don't forget to subscribe for more of these recaps. Until next time, have a nice day.